Today, I want to speak from the heart about a journey I think many of us can relate to, the challenge of finding meaningful work, and even more deeply, the challenge of not giving up on our purpose when life doesn't go as planned. Being part of the inaugural class of Soka University of America holds deep meaning for me. There was so much we didn't know. No upperclassmen to model after, no long-standing traditions, but what we did have was a sense of mission. We were entrusted with the responsibility of laying the foundation for generations to come. SUA is a university built on the philosophy of Buddhist humanism, founded by Daisaku Ikeda, but it's not a religious institution. It's a secular liberal arts school with a bold and clear mission to foster a steady stream of global citizens committed to living a contributive life. That mission has stayed with me to this day and has shaped how I see my role, not just in my career, but in society. As a Soka Gakkai member and SUA graduate, I've been taught to view each difficulty not as an obstacle, but as an opportunity to grow. But I'll be honest, this understanding is something I've had to earn through experience. My path to becoming a school counselor was anything but linear. There were moments of deep clarity and joy, but also long stretches of doubt, fear, and instability. Most recently, I was laid off from my position due to budget cuts and remained unemployed for over a year. That year was one of the hardest periods of my life. As a single mother and someone deeply committed to her work with children, I found myself not only struggling financially, but questioning everything. My abilities, my direction, and whether I had anything left to offer. I applied to hundreds of jobs. And after all those applications, I only got a dozen or so interviews. And every time I got that, we've gone with another candidate message. I questioned my dreams, my capability, and even my worth. As the months dragged on and my savings got lower, I started to wonder if I should just give up on my passion and take whatever job I could get, just something to survive. But deep down, I knew I couldn't settle. I hadn't come this far to abandon my mission. During that time, I chanted a lot, sometimes with resolve and sometimes through tears. Nam-myoho Renge-kyo became both my anchor and my fuel. Each morning, I sat in front of the Gohonzen, determined to transform my circumstances, not just on the outside, but from within. I reminded myself of Nichiren Daishonen's words, "A great evil portends a great good." And I clung to the hope that this hardship was preparing me for something greater. I want to express my deepest gratitude to the members of my district, Alamitos Beach District, to remember that we walked this path alone. During that long season of unemployment, when I was struggling to hold on to hope, they showed up for me again and again and again and again, with daimoku, with encouragement, and with so much sincere care. We chanted together, and their faith became a lifeline for me. There were days when I couldn't believe in my own victory, but they believed for me until I could stand again. That's the power of the Soka community. We lift each other up, not just with words, but with our lives. There's one home visit I'll never forget. I went to visit one of my women's division members at her home. She shared how she was also pursuing a long-held dream of hers, and in her determination, I saw a mirror of my own. She didn't tell me what to do, she simply embodied what it looked like to never give up. Her example helped me reaffirm that I was on the right path too, and that I could still create the victory I wanted, even when it felt impossible. At Soka University, we weren't trained to chase titles or status. We were taught to use our lives to uplift others. And in the Gakkai, I learned that each person's life is a microcosm of the universe. As we said before in the intro. That no matter how small or stuck we may feel, we each have the power to transform poison into medicine. Our struggles aren't signs of failure, they're the raw material of our mission. So I kept chanting, I kept asking, how can I serve today? How can I create value even in this uncertainty? And little by little, I began to feel something shift inside. A quiet strength, a deeper trust in my own life. I remember President Ikeda's guidance. Hardships make us grow as human beings. Buddhism exists so that we can become happy. And I started to believe again that this painful chapter wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something greater. And I'm so happy to share that after more than a year of searching, I was offered a position as a school counselor at the Accelerated Charter Elementary School, a dual immersion Spanish-English school in South Central Los Angeles. From the moment I accepted, everything about this community felt right. Even before I officially started, they invited my daughters and me to a welcome event, not just to introduce me to the staff, but to introduce my family to theirs. In that event, each principal stood up to welcome their new team members. And when my principal introduced me, she said she chose me because it was clear that I put the well-being of each child first, and that I am an advocate for the disadvantaged. At that moment, I felt deeply seen, not for my resume, but for my values. I thought of President Keita's words, "When we change, the world changes." I can't look at my mom because she's just a mess right now. Don't take it personal. The key to all changes. The key to all change lies in our inner transformation. I realized that the year of struggle hadn't been in vain. It had been preparing me to fully receive this moment. This past week was my first official week on the job, and I'm so excited to be there. This community of educators is collaborative, innovative, and hopeful for the children, or for the future of children in South LA. Friday morning, as I walked to my office, my principal handed me a little green paper and said, "A little Valentine for you," and walked away. The note said, "Miss Mitchell, it has been the privilege of all of us to hear your valuable contributions all week. You think deeply about theory and research while making sure to center your future students. I have loved hearing your thoughts this week. Joy, welcome to ACES. I know without a doubt that my life was waiting for this job and for this community. I'm grateful that I get to be of service at a time when children are suffering so deeply. We're living in a world where many children are facing anxiety, trauma, disconnection, and fear at younger and younger ages. They are absorbing the stress of the world around them. And sometimes they don't have the words to explain what they're feeling. That's why being a school counselor right now isn't just important for me, it's urgent. Every day, I get the chance to help a child feel seen, safe, and understood. That is my mission. As President Keita says, hope is a decision, and each day that I choose to move forward, even just one step, I am winning, especially when it's hard, because every time I overcome my own fear, doubt, or discouragement, I become a source of hope for someone else. And that, I believe, is the greatest work any of us can do. Thank you so much.